Hey guys, welcome to my channel. So in this video, we're going to be looking at another recursion topic. We're going to be learning the fact that we try to reduce or make our input smaller and smaller and smaller in a lot of recursive calls, right? Not all of them, but in a lot of them. So we're going to try to visualize that and understand the concept of diminishing our recursive calls or the inputs of the recursive calls. Right, so that way we can make a problem smaller and smaller and smaller till it reaches a base case, and then the base case can return us an answer. Then we can use that answer to reach our bigger answer. Or sometimes the base case itself returns the final answer. In that case, it's good. Right, so we're going to be learning this with the help of coding up a program. We're going to code check palindrome program, which is a really easy and very popular program that you might have coded already. So we're going to check if a string is a palindrome or not, right? So before doing that, let's try to understand what is a palindrome. And I'm pretty sure most of you know this, but for some of you who don't. So if you reverse a string and if it's the same, it's a palindrome. That's how easy it is. So let's take an example. So ABA is a palindrome because if you reverse ABA, it's going to be ABA itself, right? So that's basically it. So race car is another example. Now let's try to code up a function to do this in a more simple way, in a more used way, right? So we use the loop to do this. I'm going to be looking at the recursive function mostly, but in order to form a perspective, we're going to just be going through this in a very quick fashion. So let's code the function up. Let's take the string as an argument and let's code up the loop. So we run the loop till half of the size of the string. That's dot size by 2. And then we check for each and every corresponding character. So the first with the last and the second with the second last, like that, in that pattern. We check if any of them are not the same, we know it's not a palindrome, then we return false immediately, right? So if s.I is not equal to s.s.size minus I minus 1. We're doing minus 1 because we know that the last index of the character of the string will be 1 less than the size of the array, or sorry, the string. So return false. And if we break out of this loop, we know that it's a palindrome, so we're going to return true. So I'm pretty sure a lot of you already know this. I'm not going to be going in depth in this. So I'm just going to be assuming that you know this, right? But still. So what we're doing in here is we're checking AB. Let's take another string. Let's say BC, CB. Right, so this is a palindrome because if we reverse it, it's going to be the same. Now what we're doing is we're checking the corresponding characters. So the first one with the last one and the second one with the second last one. So we're checking if those are equal or not. If they're not, it's not a palindrome. If they are, so we break out of the loop and we return true, right? So that's how simple it is. So let's now check if it's working or not. Is palindrome. We know that race car is a palindrome, right? Race car. Let's run it and it should return us true. So it returned us 1. 1 is true in C++. So yeah, let's try to interfere with this. Let's add an S and let's see if it returns us false. So it did. Now this is working and we understood how the normal function works. Now we're going to do it recursively, right? Before that, let's look at the recursive code. Now, the first line of the recursive code says, if we look at it, it says that if the size of the string reaches 1 or less than 1, we return true. So this is the base case. So you kind of get a hint that we're gonna try to diminish the string, the length of the string, right? So that's how we're gonna be learning this concept. The second line, we're just gonna check the corresponding letters or the characters. So we're checking if the first character is the same as the last character or not. If it is not, we're just going to be returning false. And then we're going to be returning the same function itself, and basically we're calling it recursively. We're sending it a string. We're reducing the string, and we're removing the first character and the last character. Then we're kind of sending it back, and then we're making it check again and again and again and again until we reach the size of the array as, sorry, the string as 1 or less than 1, which is going to be 0. We cannot be going negative, right? So, right, so let's try to code this up and try to understand it in an even more depth manner. Boolean is pal again. Now let's take, I shouldn't have removed that. I could have used those code in here, but anyway, so we're gonna be doing the base case, and I'm gonna be explaining it, don't worry, in the whiteboard. So if size of the string reaches 1 or less than 1, which is gonna be 0, let's return true, because we know that it's a palindrome, because after all of those processes, if it returns, if it reaches 1 or like less than 1, we know that it's a palindrome. It's basically the same as breaking out of the loop in the last case, right? Now we're gonna check for the corresponding elements. So if so in this case, the first and the last one is gonna be the corresponding elements, because remember we're removing, as we saw in the code, we're removing the first and the last one and the last character in every single step. So that's how we're kind of changing the corresponding elements in every single call. Now, if it is not equal to the last element, which is going to be s.size -1, we're just going to return false, because in any case, it cannot be a palindrome. Now, we're just going to return the smaller version of the string. We're going to remove the first character, and we're also going to remove the second character. So we can basically do it again and again and again until we reach the size of 1 or less than 1, which is 0, right? So let's return is_pal, the function again, and then we're gonna utilize the substring function of C++. So 1. So this is how you like remove the first character and the last character. So you add 1 and you add the length. So the length is gonna be the size of the array -2. Sorry, size of the string -2. Because we're removing 2 items, right? So that's why. And also because the last index is going to be also less than the size, so that's why we're accounting for the first one and also the index one, right? We're returning this as, but don't worry about what I did in here if you're not familiar with C++. So what we're doing is we're moving the first letter and the last letter. That's how we're getting to this base case, right? Now let's see if this is working or not. Right, so raise car, let's call it, and it should return us true. It did, and let's try to interfere with it. It returned us false. Now, I think you already have an idea what we're doing in here, but let's try to go to the whiteboard and let's see what we're doing. So let's say we did this one, A, B, 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 A. Right, this is a palindrome, you can see it. If you reverse it, it's going to be a palindrome. So what we're doing in each and every recursive call is, we're checking if the first one is the same as the last one or not. Right? If it is, great, let's call the function again. If it is not, then we know it's not a palindrome, right? So this is same, so we're going to call the function again, but before that, we know that we're passing not the same string, but the substring of the string, so we're moving this part and this part, right? We're just gonna be sending these 3 characters now. So the next function will have B, B, B in there, right? And then again, we're gonna check if the first letter is the same as the last letter, which it is, then we're not gonna send false, because if it was not same, we're gonna be sending false. So that's how we know that if it's a palindrome or not. So in this case, is luckily the same. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna call the function again, and this time we're not gonna be sending BBB again. We're gonna be removing the last B and the first B, right? That's what we do by using the substring method. We're doing this. Now, then we're gonna be returning this as a recursive call, but we know that we have already hit our base case, because if the size of the string is 1 or less than 1, we know that it's already a palindrome, so then we return true. So that's how it basically works. And now we understand that how we're kind of making the problem smaller and smaller and smaller with each and every step, right? So first it was like 5 length, so A, B, B, B. I know you already got in this point, but so first it was size 5, then we removed 2, so it becomes a smaller problem, so it becomes this, and then it becomes even a smaller problem, then we reach even the base case, right? So So you remember I told you this in the beginning, that we're trying to reduce the problem to a smaller extent, and then we're basically trying to reach the base case. And then we get an answer, then we try to bubble up to the cause to get the bigger answer. But in this case, the base case itself is an answer, right? So that's how you understand how reduction of input can help, and to visualize this concept is very helpful while doing recursive function. So yeah, guys, that was it, and you also learned how to do this program recursively. So yeah, and if you found this helpful, please subscribe, like this video, and leave a comment. And if you have any friends who'd like these kind of content, please share this video with them.